One of the most frequent questions that I get here on the channel is, when are you going to review a Steam Deck, and when are you going to review the Analogue Pocket? And now the G Cloud is out there as well. When are you going to review that? Well, I kind of wanted to talk to you, our audience, as to why I have no plan on reviewing any of those items. So sit back, there's going to be a different sort of video. Kind of want to see what your takes on my takes are here. So part of it, let's start with the Steam Deck. First and foremost, let me say this about all three devices. They're super cool. They're really cool pieces of technology, but none of them are for me. I am not the consumer for any of these items. Again, starting with the Steam Deck. I've never been invested in the Steam ecosystem. It would be like me as an Android user buying an iPhone. I have all these apps, all these other things that I've already either purchased or invested in other ecosystems. The Nintendo Switch behind me, PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, which is now merged into one. I have to admit, I'm even using Xbox Game Pass. Whoever saw that coming. So I'm not going to say never, but just not something that is really for me. So as someone who's never been invested in the Steam platform, I don't PC games. For me, playing games involves a console of some type. I haven't done PC games probably since the early 2000s, back when I was doing simulation racing on NASCAR racing from Sierra and Papyrus, IndyCar racing, and before that, the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games. Above and beyond that, for me, my computer is for work. Like, I do my graphic design on my computer. I do my video editing on it. I write my copy on it. That's what my PC is for. I don't use it for gaming at all. Even though I now have a Republic of Gamers laptop, that system will absolutely never run a game on it. It's just not something that interests me. First and foremost, I already have a lot of these games, like I mentioned, on other platforms. I don't want to bog down my storage on my PC with other games that I download, like through Steam. I don't even use Game Pass for PC on it. It is strictly a work machine. So just for me, as far as the Steam Deck, that's why I probably won't ever use that. Now, as far as the Analogue Pocket, one thing as you get older that you may learn, and I'm going to grab my Game Boy here, is playing in this form factor, after a while, it hurts my hands. And I know it's like, okay, boomer, but seriously, after a while playing on this form factor, my hands tend to get fatigued pretty quickly, especially in my knuckles most specifically. They just hurt after a while. They could be from, your mom always tells you when you're young, don't crack your knuckles, you're gonna get arthritis. Well, I kind of have arthritis now in my hands a little bit. So me holding my hand for a long period of time in handheld mode on a Game Boy, just not something comfortable for me to play. I know what you're gonna say though. There's a dock for it. There is a dock for it. I also have the Super Game Boy and the Game Boy player for my Super NES, for my Super Famicom, and for my GameCubes. So as such, I don't have the desire to play those games in handheld mode docked to a TV. Again, I already have ways to do that. Same thing with the Steam Deck too. It's one of those where, yes, I could play in handheld mode, which I think would be similar to playing on the Switch. And I do not like playing the Switch in handheld mode unless I'm using like the Fixture Gaming S1 or S2, because I get to use a Pro Controller. And for me, that is a lot more comfortable to play with versus playing something like a Steam Deck, like a Switch in handheld mode. It's just not something that is desirable for me. I am also a fan of physical media. I don't want to just be reliant on digital downloads, because every single download store is going to eventually shut down. I will probably be dead after a lot of those shut down, but if you look just at the Wii and the Wii U, for example, you can no longer buy anything for the Wii. The Wii U, you can't add funds directly via credit card anymore. You have to use a Nintendo card that you have linked to like a Switch account or something like that. When those stores go dark, you're screwed if you ever want to re-download your content. I don't want to be trapped like that. And I know a lot of you are going to say, all that CDs and DVDs and Blu-rays and cartridges are now are download unlocks so that you can go ahead and access your content. You're not wrong, not at all. But there's a reason too why I tend to play more retro than modern. It's one of those where I want to go to my shelf, I want to pick my cartridge, I want to pick my disc, I want to put it in the system, and I just want to play. Also, like I mentioned, there's a lot of ways that I can go ahead and I can already play the great titles that I would want to play anyways. Well, not all of them are up there. You're right, not all of them are up there. But you know what, the ones that I don't have that I can play on here, I have an HDMI modded NES. It looks gorgeous. I can play NES games through that. Yeah, but their games are just too expensive to get. You're right. I'm also of the opinion, and this is my opinion, you do you, I'm gonna do me. If you don't own the game physically or have a digital license to it, you shouldn't be downloading ROMs, you shouldn't be pirating. What about, the developers are not getting any money since they've already made their money back in the day? You are also correct on that. But you know what? There are small businesses all around the country and all around the world that feed their families through second and third hand stores. Local store Adrian over at Live Action Games. I go in and I buy a copy of, Buck Bumble from him. The creators of Buck Bumble don't get a damn thing out of that, but you know what? He gets some profit, he helps pay the bills, keeps his lights on, keeps the doors open, so I have a great place that I can still go and buy physical games if and when I want to. Or, if there ever comes a time when I'm in a pinch, I know I can sell my games there too. So it's one of those things that, yes, the original developers, they're not getting any money. They've already been paid out. I get that. There's still money and people that depend on that. And like I mentioned, I am not a fan of digital downloads from a piracy standpoint. If you're gonna go to any of the ROM sites or ISO sites or anything like that and just download the game, no. I mean, you can justify it however you want. One of my favorite talk show hosts likes to say, rationalization is the second strongest human drive. You can rationalize it. You can rationalize anything. For me, not a way that I want to go ahead and play. If you have a copy of a game, so let's say that you have a copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 and you want it in digital form so you could play it on the go on some kind of an emulation system. I'd still rather see you dump this using a ROM dumper because they're out there. I think it's Retro Stage Hyper Blaster or Hyper Stage Retro Blaster. Great, I'll flash it on screen right now. They have got great tools that you can dump ROMs for the Nintendo, for the Super Nintendo, for the N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, so that way you can back up your own games. You can back up your own games from the PlayStation as well. There are other ways you can back up your own existing content and not have to download a single thing. If you own it, back it up, play it digitally. Completely fine with that. But it's one of those things, for me, I don't want to download ROMs and ISOs from the web. Plus, like I mentioned, I have so many ways already to play these games that, quite honestly, unless there's another generation of hardware coming, I'm not looking to get a whole lot of new hardware myself. We'll still test out clone systems because that is something new to the market, and that's something this channel has been built upon. Also, clone systems don't cost the $300 to $500 that some of these other systems do. It's one of those, I need to be smart with where I'm investing my money in this channel to grow now and into the future. And if it's not something after the camera shuts off that I'm going to use, I'm just not going to buy it. It's not something that, for me at least, it is worthwhile. I realize this is a very rambly sort of video, and I apologize for that. But I've been asked recently, why don't you do these systems? When are these reviews coming? They're not. They're not coming. And if that's what you're waiting for, I apologize. But I kind of hope you understand where I'm coming from on this. Now, if you do want to see other videos that we've done showing like the N64s that we've modded, how we HDMI modded our NES and more, those videos are coming up for you right now. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to help support Rock Solid Productions and be a part of our community, there's a number of different ways you can do so. First and foremost, join us over on our Patreon page or become a channel member here on YouTube. By joining through either one of those methods, you get early access to just about all of our video content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. We also give you shout outs at the end of each and every one of our videos. You can also pick up some awesome Rock Solid Productions swag. We've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more available through our Teespring store on screen right now too. You can also pick up some of our awesome 3D printed cartridge stands, Amiibo holders, Nintendo DS holders, and more by visiting our 3D printer store on screen right now as well. Links for everything will be down below in a pinned comment. If you want to stay up to date with everything we have going on here at Rock Solid Productions, make sure that you're following us on the different social media networks. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions, Instagram at instagram.com/RockSolidProductionsGK, and Twitter at Rock Solid Studios. If you're looking to pick this and other retro and modern gaming accessories up, make sure that you head on over to CastlemaniaGames.com. He has a feature over there called Castle Cash, where the more you spend, the more you earn towards future purchases, and Castle Cash is just like cash. He also offers convenient payment plans for more expensive items over $50. Finally, make sure that you use promo code ROCKSOLID10 when you're shopping at CastlemaniaGames.com, as it can save you up to 10% on most items on the website. Again, thank you for watching this episode, and I cannot wait to see you again soon.